Welcome to the Secret Cellar podcast, Iceland's first and only stand-up comedy club. I'm your host, York Underwood, and today we have the comedian Andrew Sims.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Andrew is you're a friend of the cellar.
Yeah.
You're a friend. You've been here a few times. You've been here since the beginning. You've been to Iceland a few times.
4 times now.
Four times to
4
Iceland.
times. Yeah. Which is too many sometimes. But
Yeah?
it's been lovely.
We feel the same way about you.
Thanks. Go
Yep.
fuck yourself.
Normally, I start with doing an advertisement about this new skin regime I'm doing. I'm trying to get them to sponsor the podcast. They don't answer, but I have a pimple on my face right now, so I don't want to mention it.
Yeah. You go ahead if you want to.
No,
try that.
I think it'll fuck everything up.
No, I'll fuck everything up.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So you're doing shows here. You were in the Reykjavik Fringe. You're like a kind of almost a veteran of the Edinburgh Fringe. You've done it a few times now. Well, how is it? Why do you keep coming back to Iceland?
I love it because this country is filled with fucked up people, and I really really messed up, like really an interesting sense of humor that is closer to the way I think. I'm quite a broken human being, so a lot of my humor is a bit messed up, a little bit strange, a little bit dark. So when I come here, I perform and everyone loves it, which is sometimes not what I get back home in Scotland.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of Scotland's far more middle class than a lot of people realize, and I perform it, I do this kind of stuff, and they react by going, I don't what are you why are you getting naked? What is that? Right? But over here they're like, get naked, woo!
Take your clothes off.
Yeah, fuck it, get your dick
no one
out.
cares about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
Yeah, and incest, people like incest over here, and I'm a fan. So
really,
yeah.
But why would you move away from home in order to do incest? That seems counterproductive.
They've got these things called laws over there, which
Iceland doesn't have that many laws.
No,
most of the laws have to do with shipping
Yep.
and receiving, in order so a certain number of families can continue their kind of like overarching power over the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
it's a corrupt.
But it's never to do with incest. It's
never, no. Why, if they took incest away, how would you get the farmer vote?
I know, right? Silly.
That's a joke, by the way. We love Icelandic sheep. It's been running wild for over 900 years, and it's the highest quality lamb available.
I hate the farmers here, but
you do?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you hate farmers?
I don't know why I have a hatred for Icelandic farmers. But
really?
Yeah.
Because they're like they get kind of a bad rap, because when they think of Icelanders, there's always like the kind of mistaken idea of the Viking. That's always thrown in there, and then there's always the fisherman, because that's the big thing. Fisherman, and then the tour guide, but the lowly farmer, he gets no purchase in the Icelandic identity.
Oh, that's such a shame. I'll be honest, now I'm starting to feel sorry for them.
Right? Because like the farmer is like, that's who you're going to run into if you're driving around the country. You're not going to run into a fisherman unless you're boating around the country.
Yeah, that's true.
And farmers, they can be a fun bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to, right?
Yeah.
They provide the meat and the turnips.
The turnips. Yeah.
Rutabaga. It's mostly root vegetables that are available in Iceland because it has a very cold growing season. So anything that grows above ground has to be in a greenhouse.
Yeah. This is exciting.
I know. I'm talking to a Scottish person about vegetables. You must be bored to tears.
I am so fucking bored. Yeah. And cold as well. I have gloves
on.
Yeah,
I know.
We're in such a cold room.
This is the green room. This is where we take the stars so they
can get a heater. Just pay for a heater.
We had it broke.
It broke.
That's why we're like this.
I'll be honest, that's very Icelandic.
We have a broken heater.
A broken heater.
What? But it's not that cold. It's like +4.
It's fucking freezing.
Yeah, it's
even for me.
Yeah, it feels, but we'll be fresh for the show.
God, yeah. Oh, right, yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, fucking hell. All right. Yeah, no, okay. Sure, I can do that.
Okay, good. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Where were we? It's so well temperatured in here that we'll be fresh for the show.
Exactly.
I know. I know. This is weird. I'm freezing as well. It's hard to think.
Yeah, it's hard to think sometimes when you're cold, but sometimes it's good for the nipples. It's good for the penis as well, you know, because then you know what you're really working with. You know, everyone can have a big dick in a warm, spa or sauna, but in the cold when it's still large, that's when you.
I have a lot of racist friends who say that's the whole like myth of the big black penis.
Is it really?
Just because of the temperature outside, it's just.
Yeah,
they're always just semi-hard.
They're always semi-hard
because they can be. But if you live in the north, you have to protect it, pull it into your body, keep care of it.
Exactly.
I don't think that's true though.
No, I genuinely think black people have bigger dicks. Yeah.
On average, yeah.
Yeah, on average. Yeah. I have a relatively small penis. Yeah. What about yourself?
I would say giant.
Giant.
Yeah, brutal is what I
Like
call
brutal.
it. Yeah.
Are those the reviews you've had?
Yeah, that's mostly like they're like, what? This is brutal.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds. Never mind.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound great.
No, it doesn't.
No.
No, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I've never worried too much about my penis. It works.
It works.
Sometimes, Seems to be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I don't know. I've thought about my penis a lot, and
Well, I'm glad that in two guys talking in a comedy podcast,
we got to penis eventually.
Yeah, we got to dick jokes right away, right off the bat.
Straight away. Yeah.
So you do a bunch of different styles of comedy.
Yeah.
You're a very theatrical person. You went to school, like a drama school, but you also have characters that you play. What draws you to what type of comedy? How do you choose what you want to do? Is it something where you test it and it works and you go with it, or do you have like a feeling of this is what I want to do? This is how I express myself.
Well, when I started, I just kind of I did traditional stand up, but then would like maybe throw elements of dance or music and things like that, or maybe I would sing and things like that. But then I went to I did a clown course, and that kind of made me question maybe I should push it even further and do characters. So then I started doing a character called Linda, which is this messed up sort of demented woman who plays with the audience, and she's a lot of fun because it changes my whole body, my face, and everything changes, and it is almost exciting because you get to fuck with people, but have a bit of fun with it, huh? Yeah. But then it's so different from who I am, because when I go back, people kind of go, "What? It's such a change." So I think what I love about it is the fact it gets away from who I actually am, which is quite a boring Scottish boy. I
wouldn't say boring, tedious.
It's tedious, at 100%. And then I've got like other characters like Ivan. I love doing Ivan. It's like, oh yes, this is so much fun. He's a little bit different, but he's he's exciting, and you get to do tech and things and stuff, and you get to dance to techno, and you get to talk about Chechnyans' horrible rights against human beings. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that is kind of like that's part of your, because if you're really upbeat and joyous.
Yeah.
And then switching it all the time.
Yeah.
It's
the contrast of it, and then getting to play off of that, which is great fun. But I like a lot of the time where I get my sort of inspiration from doing that is from music, because anything that is pumping, that gets people going, a comedy crowd just goes, oh, this is different, this is exciting, because a lot of the time it's just a dude with a microphone. Majority of the time it's a dude with a microphone talking about his penis, talking about there's like, oh, isn't Tinder crazy? And I'm like, oh, I'd switch off immediately. So which is why I hate your stuff. So
I'm a little jazzy. I'm always just like, I'm always like, hey, ooh,
yeah, whatever.
Nice. How's everyone feeling? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Great vibe in here. Whoa.
Yeah, that's not your material, but
I wish it was. So did my parents.
Your parents, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. What about your parents? How do they feel about my material?
About your material. You know what? I think my dad's very supportive. Very supportive.
That's good.
My mom's not a big fan.
No.
Yeah. She doesn't really like how you go off on like a 10-minute rant about the Jews. She doesn't really like that. My dad loves it, but
yeah, I just think that they're the closest group to like any sort of Protestant secular person, because they have the largest impact on science in the last 100 years, and we should celebrate them more and quit being so against them in these Nordic countries that have this weird anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I know. There's so much anti-Semitism in these
weird
Nordic countries.
That's what my rant is.
I know.
I'm like, why do these blonde-haired weirdos keep pushing away the only people who truly understand them? The Jews.
The Jews.
Yeah.
The Jews. Yeah.
The Jews are also a small population of people who've managed to progress beyond their religious upbringings.
Yeah.
That's the same as the Nordic countries.
Yeah.
They have a lot in common.
Yeah. It's not funny, but it's very factual. And I liked it. I liked it. It was good.
It's I'm more of an editorial comic.
An editorial comic.
Yeah, I just make comments. And
right.
I'm never looking for laughter, just applause.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if
you want someone to agree with you, not laugh at what you get.
Yeah. Like laughter, almost I take as violent. It's almost like they're like,
it's too much.
Yeah, but if I go like, hey, isn't this great? And everyone goes, yeah, that is pretty good.
And isn't that thing awful? And then the people go, yeah, it is
awful. That's my favorite thing.
That's your favorite type of comedy.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It's never stuff that makes people feel uncomfortable, maybe puts them in a weird place, but actually informs them of something different and interesting.
I think the only blurb I've ever gotten for a poster of mine, when I put up a poster for the show, was one said, worth the price of spaghetti.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a spaghetti and comedy night, and the other one
Yes.
was that it's like a warm bath.
It's like a warm bath.
That's how they describe
in which you want to pee in it.
Yeah, even make it warmer.
Yeah.
You're so comfortable that you could do almost anything and you won't feel ashamed. You'll feel brave. And that's
Yeah.
what my comedy is about. Making people do things that normally they'd be ashamed of, but be brave about it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I like that. Yeah.
Uplifting.
Uplifting.
Mm-hmm. And then, but with you, you're a little bit different.
Yeah. No, I do. I try to make everyone feel uncomfortable in some way.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I don't try to. It's never out of trying to offend or trying to make people go, he's just doing it for effect. I try to make the right and the left feel uncomfortable about how naked I am on stage. That's what I like to do. Yeah.
You do a lot of physical proximity comedy.
Yeah, I do.
Or like what they call now Me Too comedy.
Yeah. Well, you mean like I like sexually harass, sexually assault?
You go into people's personal spaces for the purpose of making a power imbalance that you can exploit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. And off stage, I don't do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off stage, you're a wonderful person.
Yeah.
But there is something about the lights and the attention that
just makes me
feel
like I have the right to do whatever I can.
Privilege.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
So I like to do that. Yeah. I like to make people feel like they should never ever feel comfortable in the presence of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's the type of comedy I go for.
But that again, that is a lot of people would describe that as a very kind of, British sense of humor. Like a lot of the shows, like if you go like the British Office versus the American Office, which a lot of people use in these conversations because they can't remember another show.
Yeah, they can't think of any other examples. of other American and British humor it is very funny because it's now getting to a point now that American humor is influencing British comedy so much. Yeah. And it like I'm a product of that as well.
Yeah.
That British comedy it's almost disappearing and it's being churned into American humor with a British twist. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's becoming the car salesman, but he's a little bit lonely now.
Yeah, he's a little bit lonely.
Yeah, that's it. Because like American humor is always like, yeah, I'm the greatest and you're the greatest, and isn't this weird? Oh, what? Yeah. And then British humor is always like, oh man,
everything's shit.
I smoke too much. Like if I had to describe like the one sentence I'd say as a British comic, it'd be like, oh, I smoke.
Yeah.
Too much.
Remember that this thing used to be a thing? You remember that?
Yeah.
It's not now.
No.
Now it's this. I hate it. I'm middle-aged.
Yeah, that's what reminds me of British humor.
Yeah,
or like the thing like where you dress like a lady and go like, oh, I'm a lady. You know?
What, like Monty Python? Sort of
Monty Python. Yeah, you have a bit of a Terry Jones type.
Terry Jones?
Yeah, from Monty Python.
Terry Jones? I thought it was Terry Gilliam, but no.
Terry Gilliam is the other guy.
Terry Jones.
Terry Jones is the one who is suffering from dementia.
Oh, okay.
And was the director of most of the Python movies.
Okay, cool.
And right now people are kind of coming together as comedians to support him and make sure we mention him and things.
I couldn't give a shit about him.
Wow.
Didn't even know he existed.
So you didn't know who Terry... What?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Monty Python
I should have probably
more
known
people
that.
than Terry Gilliam. But that's because you're an actor, though. You only think about the directors who are still working because you're looking for an angle. You want to roll.
No, I'm not a working actor.
Obviously.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not. Obviously, I have no work at the minute. That's why I'm here in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you go when you have no work. You have no prospects.
Iceland. Yeah, it's actually strange. If you're from Western Europe, Iceland's a place you go when you have no prospects and your parents are willing to pay for you.
Yeah.
But if you're from Eastern or Central Europe, this is where you go when you have a lot of work to do, like build hotels or all that sort of stuff, because they have a work ethic that sustains this country.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm a man of the people. I'm a working man.
Is that one of your slogans?
Yeah.
Is that one of your...
It's
quite a long slogan.
The people's champion. That's what I've been described as.
People's champion.
Mm-hmm.
The York Underwood, the people's champion.
York Underwood, the people's champion. That's what I'm.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Whenever I go to like union rallies, they stop and they like, there is a comedian who cares about us.
He is the people's champion.
People's champion.
He is going to change everything.
Yeah. That's basically it.
Yeah. And then you just get drunk with them. Is that what you do? Yeah.
No, I try to I get them to purchase the different beer sponsors that we have in order for us to continue to make money at our
Secret Cellar.
Yeah. But that's
the Secret Cellar.
The Secret Cellar. Yeah. The Secret Cellar. The podcast.
Yeah.
So what do you have going on while you're here?
I'm gigging Secret Cellar most nights. I'm also my dad's coming on Thursday, and so I'm gonna do a lot more touristy things. I'm gonna actually finally go to the Penis Museum.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, "Oh, we're gonna go to the Penis Museum." He was not as thrilled as I was.
Yeah, it's great
because I'm bisexual and he's a straight man, and he's not so keen on seeing the animal. Like
they don't let you touch the penises. Like it's a very
for fuck.
It's a very cold museum. It's for learning. Like
so it's not like
they're like, hey, this is a goat penis.
Okay,
a walrus. You don't get to do that.
You're not. Yeah, you've never sucked a dick, have you?
What?
Have you?
No, I haven't.
No. That's really.
that's a bad dick set.
Yeah, very much so.
Terrible.
It's more. It's more like you've got to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen it from a different point of view, but
no, I never look. I find it disrespectful.
You never look.
I avert my eyes and I say, please do what you will, but do not involve me in this.
All right. Are you Catholic?
No.
You're just ashamed of everything. Okay.
No. I feel that when someone's busy doing something, you shouldn't bother them with a gaze.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the male gaze, which is a problem these days.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You shouldn't be giving the male gaze a misogynistic look at a woman who's sucking your dick. You really shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and I'm like from the area I'm in Canada. There's a lot of Mennonites, and Hutterites, which are kind of like a fundamentalist religious order that like tries to stay away from technology. Mennonites are a little bit more integrated, obviously, and they're just like a German Christian group, but. You know, the women all wear dresses, the men all wear weird clothes, and sometimes they have sex through a sheet, is what they say. Mm-hmm. And so I have always felt that was the most polite way of getting this business over with.
Yeah. It's interesting how this podcast goes. Like, we get a conversation going, and then you give a great factual speech, and then it's dead.
Yeah, it's like it's a wave.
This is where the lull is.
The lull, yeah. The lull. But you want to give listeners, a place to breathe.
No one's gonna listen to this.
There are 4 people that will listen to this.
4 people.
You, me.
I'm not gonna listen to this.
Dagger.
So that you're down to 3.
And then,
it was not.
And then Kirsten in marketing. She has to listen to it because she has to veto if we say anything about Mennonites or Hutterites again. Because I've been warned like 3 times.
Have you actually mentioned it every time? Wait, you mean that speech wasn't even special?
No,
fuck you, York.
I've never mentioned it before.
Okay.
I can tell that this is going to be a problem. It was like, don't bring in the German fundamentalists.
Yeah. You know? My dad will probably watch the first like 3 minutes and then switch off. Yeah. He'll get very bored. My brother might listen to it a little bit longer.
Yeah. See, look at that. That's 6.
6. Who knows?
Yeah. 6 people. That's good.
Yeah. Well, there could be other people.
But you're gonna do some tourist stuff here. But you were here for the Reykjavik Fringe.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
And because the Secret Cellar, the podcast is about us like getting more content on our page, which is a word you have to say now, and getting people interested in this sort of stuff.
You were born in the wrong era.
Content.
You have to say these things now because the fucking young people have taken over.
Yeah, but like people want to. And
back in the day, you just sucked some dick and you were famous on Letterman.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day.
But no, also I get it because it's such an international world now. Because like even today, I saw like an uplifting thing on the news. They had like during in Lebanon, they're having those protests, and a woman complained that her children were scared, and so the protesters sang "Baby Shark" to the children so they would calm down. If you think about that I don't think that would happen at any other time in history, where something like this children's song would be so international because of the internet, and that's kind of what I think our podcast is like. Our podcast is like the Baby Shark of comedy.
Baby. The baby shark.
Yeah, because like I'm sure there could be like
because back in the day they would have just killed the baby. So
like right now in Syria there could be people at each other's throats, and then one could say, "Did you see what York said about the Hutterites? I thought that was just way out of line."
But you know what? I agree with you,
and
sir.
See, and I can bring them together even on something I did wrong. Just the fact that we're so out there, it can change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our content.
You're a hell of a narcissist, but yeah, I love it.
No, but like the thing, like what everyone messages when they message me about the Secret Cellar, they're like, "What? Comedy in Iceland? What? There's a comedy club, and then how much do you pay? Can I get booked?"
Yes,
and that's how it works. but you did the Fringe here, which is a little bit different. You came here to the Reykjavik Fringe, which is relatively new as well.
Yeah, technically in its second year. Is it second year? Yeah, so it was its second year, and I got told by loads of people, "Oh, don't go. It's not a real thing yet."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, but you've got to go to see
to make it into a real thing."
Yeah, exactly. So I went on my way to do it, and I used it as a way to preview before the actual Edinburgh Fringe, the real Fringe, not this fake Icelandic shit.
It's the biggest Fringe I think in the world.
Yeah, it's the biggest arts festival in the world, bigger than anything else in the world. So it's I used it because it's just at the perfect time, just at the start of July, which meant that I had like 2 weeks in Iceland, just got a gig all the time, preview the two shows that I was doing, the Linda show and my other show. And it was great because I got audiences every single time. They weren't huge audiences, but that's perfect for the Edinburgh Fringe because most of the time you get 10 people on average. The Linda show struggled. I don't know why a demented woman who fucks with the audience called Linda and speaks like this only got like 6 people a day. I don't know why that was.
Well,
I know it. I thought it really sold itself, but it really
6 people a day. So it's basically about as popular as this podcast.
Exactly. yeah. That is exactly what it was. But with Linda, struggled, and then my other show did well because it's more queer and like I had a niche market of queer people turning up and watching the show, which was fantastic. But it was great doing it here because whenever a joke didn't work, it really was a shit joke. It was a very supportive crowd. So it meant that I knew what to cut, what to sort of change and things like that. And then eventually when I was at the Edinburgh Fringe, I just was like, okay, even if it doesn't work on this night, I know it works somewhere in Iceland. It gave me a bit of confidence, just kind of push through it and, it was a wonderful experience doing it in July because usually when you're in Scotland, around Britain, you do preview nights and there's hardly anyone there and no one's up for it. No one really gives. So it's so harsh, but over here actually gave me hope that the show was actually good. So that was good. That's one of the nice things is there's something about, because it's new here too, people are very supportive and they're used to supporting stuff because every time someone does something new here, they have to kind of support it because it's the first time it's being done in Iceland. It's very much like an arts community in that way, which is nice. But you said something interesting. You said your other show, because it was more queer, you were able to bring in like it was because the show was called Am I Queer Enough? And so I had a lot of the LGBT community coming to see it. There was a lot of gay and lesbian people that were coming to see it, and they were kind of interested about why I had phrased it that way. And then all the bisexual people who are part of the people that I am, they turned around and said, "Oh yeah, we understood what the show was about as soon as we saw the title." Because bisexuals are questioned all the time for their validity. We have a day now which is called Bisexual Visibility Day, because that's how people don't fucking think we exist. And that's mental, of the fact that other days it's pride, it's the pride, everyone knows they exist, but it's the proud, and bisexuals like, we're here too. Like, we're not a unicorn. It's like, so that sort of spoke to a lot of men and women who are or non-binary, that they don't think that what they feel is valid, and that's what I was trying to give. I was trying to give people confidence. I got a lot of people on Twitter sort of messaging me afterwards and saying, to be perfectly honest, I've never seen myself on stage. I've seen bisexual performers, but I've never seen a person that's closest to who I am. Which was great.
But as a performer then, because there seems to be this like categorizing that happens when you say something like, I'm bringing in a queer audience, or then it's like, do you feel like, what does that make you feel just as an individual? Are you're I've watched your set and I think everyone enjoys it. Oh yeah, god yeah. No, like, but does it ever make you feel like some comedians or something, like I noticed they'll be like, oh yeah, this is a queer show or something like that? Because identity comedy is getting a bad rap. It's getting a bad rap, but I would say that my comedy is not, it's not rooted in identity. It's just that identity is there. So I perform, like I've performed, I've done comedy for 7 years now.
I started doing comedy in Aberdeen, which is the straightest fucking place in the world.
Well,
it is a place where,
at least on the surface.
Yeah, on the surface. Oh yeah, there's so much fucking weird sex things happening in Aberdeen. There's weird, like the websites for like kink websites are so filled with people from Aberdeen.
Yeah.
But my issue is that no one's upfront about it in Aberdeen, which means it's very unhealthy, and people are closeted and don't say things for so many years. And I do think being open with it, you don't have to turn around and say that your entire identity and your personality is rooted in your sexuality. I don't agree with that. But if you are scared of coming out or feel that you don't want to come out because you'll be judged, I want to get rid of that. It's like, no, you can do whatever the fuck you want as long as you aren't being a dick about it. Like, as long as you're not hurting anyone, it doesn't matter, you know? Yeah,
no, it's obviously because everyone knows everyone has friends and people they talk, and then the way that people decide on what they're going to share with others is usually rooted on how they want to be perceived by others, not necessarily how they feel.
And it's trying to take away that pressure of just focusing on, oh, I'm going to be perceived this way, I'm going to be looked at this way. You need to just relax and be yourself. If there are people around you that don't accept you, you have to just swallow it. Which is what I always say. It's a slogan I always say. Hey-o. It was serious, and I had to make a joke at some point because it was getting way too serious. But I do feel there are so many people that they watch me, they watch what I do, and I can always see them in the crowd. They have a look in their eyes of like, oh, this is someone that's saying exactly how I've felt for years. And that's nice. There's also other people that roll their eyes, don't think bisexuals are real. They go, oh, I'm fucking bored. Just talk about dicks. There's and not the way you're talking about it, you know? Like you're talking about sucking them. I'm not into that. You'll get loads of people roll their eyes, and that's fine. But you've got to focus on the people that are actually listening and actually taking something from it. You know?
But when you're telling jokes, or when you're like when you're making an audience laugh, a lot of it is this building up of tension and releasing it, like many people have said. If this sort of if this tension disappears, where there isn't these people that are kind of not willing to accept it or not pushing out, does the humor lie there anymore? Like, it seems like a lot of the humor in any subject is because there's an obvious tension. So if that disappears, all of a sudden there is no, like, there, you can't really play with an audience.
Yeah, exactly. I think if I lived in a world where everyone accepted bisexuals and all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't talk about being bisexual. I really wouldn't, because no one would fucking care.
But would you miss that?
There would be an element of that. But actually, you know, there is an element now, though, that the world is becoming more progressive. So sometimes I'll start talking about being bisexual on stage, and no one does, like, no one cares. And that's fine. That's totally understandable. But then I get into certain routines that are graphically sexual. And you'll get some, like, guys, even women in the audience that are a little bit older just go, And it's like, that's tension. That means you're not open to this discussion. So even when they're fine with, oh no, I'm fine with you being bisexual, just don't fucking talk about it. That's tension that I can play with.
But what about tension in the other direction? So when you're accepted, and there is the group of people, like you'll have an audience that is very like progressive and all that stuff, and then you say something that's just yours. That's just yours and it's just who you are. That doesn't go with necessarily what they believe, and then they think you're like a traitor.
Traitor. You get you're someone that is not sensitive, that you don't understand, and that's another tension you have to deal with. You're absolutely right. When you have someone who's like, I don't think you should say the things you're saying on stage because it's hurtful to me. And I go, but it's not your fucking story. It's my story. And I think I've had young people turn around to me and say, I don't think you should say that. I don't think you should say the word faggot, for example, on stage. And I was like, okay, why do you think that? And then it was like, well, you know, I just don't think you have the right to it. But the problem is, I've had that word said to me while I've been beaten up and humiliated. I do think I have a right to that word because I've always felt different. I've always, pardon the joke, I've always felt like a faggot. I've always felt like something different.
The outsider.
Yeah, the outsider. But that doesn't mean I have to be alone in that. No. It means I can take strength from it as well. I can be happy with being the opposite of what is default. That doesn't mean I have to make fun of the word. If I overused that word, 100% that's wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be overusing it. You shouldn't be saying it just in a derogatory way. But if I'm saying it on stage and I'm saying it in a context that is a joke to give more power to bisexuals or gay people or lesbians, then I will say it.
Yeah.
But if I'm saying overusing it, if I'm using it in a show irresponsibly, then I shouldn't say it.
Right.
What's funny is I have said it in a show and I've used it in a show and I've lost a friend through that.
Yeah.
And that is when I have to take responsibility for the language I use and how I say it. It's never just about how people are offended by a word. It's about why you're using it.
Yeah.
If you're using it because you just think it's funny,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. But if you take responsibility for what that word is, then you can take it to great lengths and convince straight, gay, anyone that you're able to say this for a reason.
Yeah.
But I have said it in a way sometimes that has led to bad experiences. So I have to take responsibility for that.
But the responsibility aspect of it is, how do you, like, if you have no bad intention, like you're saying, and this is something that you want to hold on to, how, like, when the writing process and how you create these jokes, you're starting from an idea, a story, and then the only way to test it is on an audience, and then you have to edit yourself down. You're never editing yourself and then going on, really.
No, yeah.
It's always like you have this idea and then you're getting a pushback. But what happens if it's a live show and it's not going to be the same every time, but that one live show happens to be the one where your friend sees it and is no longer your friend, or an audience member films you, and then all of a sudden,
I wasn't meaning a friend had seen me.
Yeah.
I was in the show with her.
Okay.
Yeah, and then using that word and using other using dyke, for example.
Yeah.
I lost a friend because I was irresponsible with it. We were doing a sketch show together.
Yeah.
And so and since then I've been very very careful about using words that have such a powerful context.
Yeah.
You still can't be afraid of doing it as an artist. You have to be aware that that's still something you can talk about and do. But you have to be able to understand that some people are just not going to take it the way that you intend it.
Yeah.
And it, whether that person is right or wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have to take responsibility in the end for what is said on stage. I never have the intention of hurting people.
Right.
I've never had the intention of hurting people, but I have hurt people anyway.
Yeah.
What do I do about that? Do I take responsibility for it? Do I, feel guilty for the rest of my life? Or do I just move on and become a better person?
Yeah.
That's probably the choice I should make, but I like alcohol, so I'll probably just destroy myself until I kill myself at the age of 30. Who knows?
Nice. Oh, you're younger than 30.
I know I'm 25. Yeah,
You're 25.
25.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're doing well.
I know I'm. No, it's about to go off the rails with another wine. So.
Yeah, but yeah. So I guess, but what do you like? Has anyone ever offended you that you've worked with? Have you been on the other end of this, or do you constantly feel like you're the?
I've never offended it. I've never been offended. I've been pissed off with people when they don't understand correct way of performing, a way of understanding the world. If I see a white comic say the N-word on stage, but they've said it without the understanding of what that word is,
right.
I go, what the fuck? Right? I'm not offended by it. I'm just like, do it correctly. If you say that word on stage, you need to have a certain level of understanding of what has happened, and but even then, are you even allowed to say that on stage? Is dependent on it's dependent on anyone else deciding if you can say that word. But if you just say it flippantly, don't like it.
But then, just like as with a situation like yourself, if someone's testing something out and maybe they think this is really important, are there just certain things you stay away from? Like definitely the N-word.
The N-word's the N-word's a big one. The N-word's a big one. But
that's like something. Yeah, we're even saying the N-word and everything, and you always get reminded of all the jokes about it and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But you stay away from it. But if you take these risks, when do you have to be the most like? Is there like a certain number of times like you've tried this risky material? And then all of a sudden you go, no, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, I think.
But if they do it once, is that okay?
I think it still doesn't make sense to do it, right? But if the joke is flippant and it's not actually a deep joke about racial issues or anything like that, it's just a flippant. Oh, I'll just say it because of shock value. it doesn't make sense the first time, but if you keep doing it and it just ruins your set, or it just makes people go, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But if you take responsibility and you stop doing it, and you move on as a person, absolutely 100%. Because I know someone who's done that, who has stopped doing material or stopped saying that in their set, and I have a lot of respect for them because of it. Because then they've gone, okay, now I understand that that was not okay and need to move on.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
but I've seen this in open mics, and maybe you have as well,
yeah.
where it's not, because jokes aren't always contextual either. So trying to build up this, like, okay, like I have this background and this background allows me to do this. That's not really how it works always on stage. You don't have that level of understanding with the audience. Some people get away with almost anything just because they're more likable than the other person.
More likable. They have a personality that just, they're able to toe the line that just makes more sense.
Yeah, we've seen it, like, especially here at the Secret Cellar, a bunch of young guys who, like, you know, they're getting ready to come on. They're angry about the world. They're young, dumb, and full of cum. You know, and they're like, oh,
I've watched one incel video and now I'm pissed off.
Yeah. They're like, what the fuck? And they do this stuff, and then they're like, why does everyone hate me? And then another comedian comes on who is just really, really just likable, and she's doing this sort of stuff. And then she says basically the same stuff they said. And it's not, the context isn't really any different, but just the idea of her saying it is more acceptable.
Yeah, but it's
him saying it.
Yeah, exactly. But it is the perspective. It's the perspective, and I don't think, because some people are just not likable and can never be a comedian. that is just some.
Can you name some names?
Yeah, name some names. York Underwood.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, damn it.
Arno. No.
Arno. Yeah, he's likable enough, you know.
He's very likable. Yeah, and he's
forgivable.
Forgivable.
That's what he is.
Forgivable.
Yeah, I don't know if it's likable, but it is forgivable.
Forgivable. No, but that's the thing. I am aware that sometimes in certain rooms I am very likable. People are like, oh fuck, he was amazing.
Yeah.
In other rooms, I'm hated. Like there's a deep hatred for who I am and what I do, and that you have to get comfortable with both. But that's how you become a great comic.
Isn't that the huge, like, what would it be, like, opposing arguments with, like I know I was making jokes about content and everything, but that is, like, the internet makes everything permanent.
Yes.
So a moment is permanent.
Yeah.
So everything you say in that moment is, like, it can be watched over and over and over and over again.
So thanks for reminding me that, because this is going to be permanent online. Yeah. Thanks for
no problem.
Yeah. I don't have much online because I'm aware of how permanent it is.
And that's because when you're building up, like, especially you're 25, I'm 33, I'm in the same boat as you. We're working on stuff. I don't like to put a lot of stuff online either because I feel like I'm just working on stuff. Yeah. And if I go too far or I say the wrong thing, it's not really, if they were asking me, this is the set that people are going to see, most of the time I'd be like, it's not this one. This is not the set I want everyone to see. I'm not there yet. I don't have the...
No, I think the set I really want everyone to see worldwide is your set. I don't know if you've done this on stage yet, is Fuck Pit. I love Fuck Pit.
Yeah, Fuck Pit's a great set.
It's an amazing set.
But it's also kind of a business idea, so I got to keep it like hush.
Oh, you're a business idea. Yeah. We're not going to talk about Fuck Pit.
We can't.
We can't talk about Fuck Pit.
Because, like, Fuck Pit started... Okay.
It
started years ago.
Okay.
With a comedian called Des Reed.
Okay.
And we started planning this together. And then Des, I don't know what he's up to now. He's
dead? Is he dead?
No, he's in Saskatchewan. No, he's in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Which is a real place.
Is it?
Yeah. And he's there, and, like, so this whole concept of just a fuck pit has haunted me.
So what is the idea of Fuck Pit?
Well, the idea, again, I can't get into
you can't get into specifics.
No, it's too much of, like, it's still like, it's so economically viable.
Okay.
This great idea.
So it's basically an escape room for businessmen to fuck. That's essentially what it is.
But it's again, it's not about gay or straight, really.
No.
And it's kind of like you said, it gets people out of their comfort zone, but also they have to be accepting of it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's dudes in a pit at lunchtime.
What are they doing? They're
in Fuck Pit. What do you think they're doing?
I don't know.
First rule of Fuck Pit: if you don't fucking Fuck Pit, get the fuck out of Fuck Pit.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. I got it out of him. I got him out of it because that is one of my favorite lines. If you don't fucking Fuck Pit, get the fuck out of Fuck Pit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's my favorite thing.
But it's
it's a worldwide idea.
It's a years down the line thing. That's my retirement plan. I've told my parents, they're like, York, what are you doing? You're in a basement in Iceland doing comedy. Do you have any plans for your future? And I was like, 2 words, Fuck Pit. That's it, baby. My parents don't talk to me much though.
No, they don't. No. That makes sense though.
Oh, that's what you say.
Yeah.
So, your dad's arriving.
Yeah, my dad's arriving on Thursday.
On Thursday?
Talking about parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the big things that like when I traveled around doing stand up and I had no material, not unlike today, I would I would find out about the town a bit. Like when you're going from like small town to small town and performing for a new audience, you'd find out little things about the town to incorporate stuff. But what's happened, because it's the opposite in Iceland now, I'm staying put and new audiences are coming in and I'm just refining the small town humor to a perfection. Do you find that when you come here that you feel like almost every comedian who's came here feels like they have to do some Icelandic joke or about, because it's tourism and they know people will relate to it?
Yeah, no. I knew I didn't really have to do anything about Iceland in any way because of, like, I think it was the first time I came over and the first person that brought me over was Inga. Yeah. And she just said, oh yeah, you don't have to do anything about Iceland most of the time because it's tourists. It's mostly tourists. And 4 million tourists come through Iceland?
Oh, just over 2.
Over 2. Okay. I thought it was way more. Fuck it.
There's only 300,000 people here.
Okay, yeah. So like there's so many people coming through that's much larger than the population. And so it means like you're performing to mostly Americans most nights, Americans, Canadians, all that kind of thing. And then just because it's cheap for them to come over as well, and it's
and because we're the only free show, like it's just we get a lot of like where people don't even speak English, but they're just happy that something isn't expensive. So they're like, yeah, we're from Germany, we don't understand, but we just want to sit here for free for a while.
Yeah. And your booze is relatively cheap for the rest of
we keep it like this is just swill.
It's very cheap at Secret Cellar.
Yeah, we sell swill.
Cheap. Yeah,
we're looking to get people drunk, not tantalize their taste buds.
No,
we're here to excite their eyes and their ears.
Which is why I've like partied with a lot of audience members after the show, because they're just like, we can actually drink here, and they go mental. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I can have a shot here. It's great.
They go crazy. They're like, why is it so cheap? And we're like, because it is cheap.
it's really cheap.
This is garbage.
But the thing is, it's performing here is no different from performing in Edinburgh. Yeah. Edinburgh's exactly the same. There's maybe more English people. Yeah. But it's relatively, like, I'll perform at Monkey Barrel on a Wednesday night, like it's the new material night. And it's like 100 people in the crowd usually, and then it's incredible because you'll speak. It's like, oh, where you're from? Oh, we're from Sweden. And then it's like, oh, we're from Germany, and everyone makes the jokes like, you don't have a sense of humor, but they always have a sense of humor. Yeah, they're laughing the most of the night. It's very weird
because they're just like, we own the EU.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
We own everything.
Oh, we are rising again. That's what they think.
No, we'll just stay here.
You see what they did to Greece?
I know, right?
They're crafty people.
I know. They just fingered Greece. Take it.
Yeah, they didn't care. They're like, oh, you guys had to build up your infrastructure. Like, we don't build things. This is Greece. The last time we built stuff, do you remember where that was?
Yeah.
Ancient Greece. And we still use it.
Yeah. It's a good tourist trap a lot of the time, Greece. But yeah, no, I love performing here. I genuinely do. But there is a sense of it's so cold and dark here.
What are you talking about?
I know, right? Fucking, I don't know, right? I have no idea.
Just doing a podcast in a fucking meat locker.
You know what's funny? My feet have actually gone numb. Like, it's mental. I should have brought.
I forget which hand my cigarette is in.
So you just start. What?
I've done this a couple of times. Oh, is this one? I just have to keep them stiff.
It's all right. Yeah. But it's been fun.
Yeah, and what's the big tourist thing? If a comedian was coming here and they're like, I want to pair my little gigging trip with a little tour of Iceland. What's your favorite tourist thing you've done here?
I did go a little bit further out of Iceland and then went to some of the waterfalls and things. That was really cool. Yeah. But the thing I really love is the saunas, because of all the naked men.
Yeah.
Middle-aged naked man is my favorite.
Really?
No. no, but I like the saunas because you get there's some that you get to like go outside into a jacuzzi and it's outside.
Yeah.
And it's cold, like the cold temperature, but then it's warm.
Yeah.
In the actual jacuzzi.
I like it when it's like a little blizzardy.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And then you can go into a hot tub.
Loved it. Yeah. Absolutely loved it. And then you jack off a guy.
Always have to go for the easy joke.
It's not a joke.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks. Is that the end?
That's the end.
It has to be the end. We can't go further than that.
No. You finished him.
Yeah.
You finished this.
Yeah, I finished
It's over.
That's great.
So just to remind everyone, the Secret Cellar has shows 7 nights of the week. We have Monday, we have the Magic Viking. Tuesdays is the Funniest Four. Wednesdays is the open mic. And we now have a show at Oyster, which is a venue just down the street, where we have the late night show from 10:30 to midnight on Wednesdays. Thursdays, we have My Voices Have Tourette's. Fridays is the Friday night, the Not So Secret Friday night comedy show. And Saturday is the Saturday Night Comedy Showcase. And Sunday is Sunday Silly Shenanigans Sunday. Thank you guys very much. And I hope you watch the next one too. Thanks, Andrew.
No
Good
problem.
luck tonight.
Yeah.
Break a leg.
Yeah, you too, babe.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jesus.